The sad thing is when you do share, oftentimes the person shares back that they've had one or two similar experiences. I cannot tell you the number of people I have shared
Yeah.
stuff with and who would say, I
I
too have
had the
experienced
same
something like that.
experience.
Some people
Wow.
were younger when were younger when it happened. Some people were older, or it's different, but it's some form of inappropriate sexual contact with
Contact,
somebody.
yeah.
And sometimes it happens so early. It's like until you're much older, you're like, wait a minute. Oh, that's what that was.
That's what
Because you,
that was, yeah.
right? And so the more you talk about it, there's power in words, right? The more you talk about it, you the more you learn, right, and the more it's addressed. The Me Too movement came out of people having the courage to
To
talk.
talk about it, and it's freeing, it's liberated so many women and so many people out there. So
Absolutely. Look at how many
yeah.
people who we've looked up to.
And I want you to share now advice for survivors. So
Mm.
people who have gone through this really traumatic, difficult, and very sensitive experience, very complex, very delicate. What are
I,
something that you can say to help them through the healing process and the recovery process?
I would definitely say, first and foremost, it's never your fault.
Yes.
It is never your fault.
Fault.
It doesn't matter where you were. Didn't matter for me. It doesn't matter what you were doing, what
Okay.
you didn't do. Doesn't matter what you wore or what you said. It's never your fault when somebody else chooses to assault you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And most importantly, don't be ashamed. Don't let them push their shame that they should be ashamed of what they're doing on
Mm-hmm.
you and then steal your voice. Because that shame keeps people silent. And because there's this taboo and people don't talk about it, it's like a stigma, right? People
Mm-hmm.
don't talk about it, they can't share with anybody, and often don't get help about it. And it just carry that with them, right? Of course, for me, it affected the way I am around people. I've learned to mask it really well, whereby you may not even notice. Like I can be walking on the street or walking into a room. I've already found my exit. It has become so
Wow.
natural to me that whenever I enter a room, I've already found my way out of that room. That's well, corrections training
Wow.
also made that. If that wasn't there before when I worked with correction, that's one of the things you learn. You need to know where your exits are
Yeah.
when you walk
Just
into a
in
place
case.
where you sit. If you're going into a place and the door is here, you're not over there. You are close to the door as possible. If you're sitting on a bench, you don't keep your legs locked under. You keep your leg free so you can get up and move quickly. Like that's the level which I operate.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's becoming so normal to me, I don't even notice when I do it. It comes natural. Like even when I'm walking on the street, like I always giggle every now and again. I'm walking from the work. You know where we used to work, right? And I'm walking through the buildings to go where you know how there's no parking. Government,
Yeah.
please provide parking for your staff. Now, be cool, please. You know how there's no parking, right? And so you have to either park very far for like a more affordable parking, or maybe you have a
Mm-hmm.
parking spot further down that has the monthly rate that's cheap.
I don't do parking, but I know what you're talking about. I took the
Right.
transit, but
But
I
you,
know
you you
what you
know
mean.
the friends of yours that will say, please, my parking spot is far, 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 right? Or walk with you to the station and then keep walking to their car,
And then
right?
and I'm already home, and you're still walking to your car.
Girl, say it
Just
again.
kidding. No.
But it feels that way. Suddenly, winter time is like, why? But why? But why? So even when I'm walking, and it's like it's not back alley. It's like I'm walking, but maybe it's less populated areas. I'm already looking. I've from the extreme left to extreme right of the building, even in the alley. I don't walk into what I cannot see.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna walk somewhere and there's a corner or there's something blocking, I never walk straight. It's the way you can angle yourself. Just ladies and gentlemen, do self-defense classes and learn things. These things
Wow.
just for general safety is helpful. I never walk straight. I always walk on an angle so that at any point in time I can always see. And if I can't see where I'm going through, I work further out to see where I'm walking through. Because I never want to come up into a corner and then somebody jump. I will see the person from a distance, make a quick assessment of the person, decide, do I keep walking, or do I find a different route? That's how it's impacted me. So I'm very super alert.
That's great.
Now you don't want your life to be totally ruled by, oh, every step I take, every move I make, this person, that person. I have simmered down.
Yeah,
I
you have to. It has to be reasonable because you don't
Yes,
want it to rule your life.
your life, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I do notice it when I'm walking on the streets. I notice it's there, right? When I'm in my own home, or in my friend's place, or I don't feel that way anymore. But I definitely say find someone you can trust to talk about it with.
Okay.
And if even better, if you can find professional help to talk about it. If you don't want to talk about it with somebody you know, or you don't think they know, because some people don't know what to say when you go to them about what has happened. They don't know what to do. They'll just say, I'm sorry. Oh, okay. And don't know what to do, or don't know what the tools to give you. And that's okay, because sometimes all you need is a listening ear. But I would say, if anyone ever approaches you about experiences that, find some resources to recommend them to go to utilize, right? Like support groups. Anonymously, if you don't want people to know who you are, they can help that way. So find someone you can trust, who you can talk to in your circle. If not, professional help, or both. There's nothing wrong in doing both.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
And and then that way it's not a shame you're carrying. You know what I mean? And then that way you release it, and then you learn from it, and then you're mindful about it, but you don't let it control you. And when someone shares that with you, be sensitive.
Be sensitive and supportive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. And
Absolutely.
so that's what I would definitely say to
Thank
people in
you.
regards to supporting people who are survivors of it. And the sad thing is, when you do share, oftentimes the person shares back that they've had one or two similar experiences. I cannot tell you the number of people I have shared
Yeah.
stuff with, and who would say, I too
had
have
the
experienced
same
something like that.
experience.
Some people
Wow.
were younger when it happened. Some people were older, or it's different, but it's some form of inappropriate sexual contact with
Contact.
somebody.
Yeah.
And sometimes it happens so early. It's like until you're much older, you're like, wait a minute. Oh, that's what that was.
That's what
Because
that was. Yeah.
right. So the more you talk about it, there's power in words, right? The more you talk about it, the more you learn, right, and the more it's addressed. The Me Too movement came out of people having the courage to talk.
To talk about it, and it's freeing, it's liberated so many women and so many people out there.
Absolutely. Look at how many people
Yeah.
who we've looked up to, powerful,
So
influential people that have been taken,
the Weinstein one really shocked me, because it's like every single movie I watch has his company name on it. So that one like really still shocks me.
The one I know that people struggle with, I know I did, was Bill Cosby.
Oh yeah. Yeah, because I, watched some of his the Bill Cosby show. I watched a little bit of it as a kid.
Oh yeah.
But
I grew up watching Cosby show. We had every tape, every season, everything. So it takes you a while to get to the point where you understand that the TV personality is not the
it's not the
life. I feel like for people with Bill Cosby, some people will still argue and say they're not even 100% convinced that
there's still people
that is a conspiracy. And look at the fact that majority of them are of a certain race, and it's a black and white. Like, let's even leave all that aside. A lot of people need to understand that this is not a campaign against Bill Huxtable in the Cosby Show. This is Bill Cosby, human being, not in an acting role. People have found it very hard to separate the character that they see on TV from the him in real life.
Yeah.
And if you're having problems with that, imagine how the people who were victims and survived his encounters felt, because they too saw him in that light. And when and I'm pretty sure when it happened to them, there was that shock of, I can't believe
this can't be happening. Like,
and I can't believe this person did this, and who's gonna believe me?
Who's gonna believe me?
They're so very powerful. They're more influential.
Huge reputation, right? So nobody will ever believe. But speak up, like you said. Speak up. And I would thank you so much, Takumbo, for sharing that. I think that my biggest takeaway that you said there is just remember that it's not your fault. For me, that's like the huge biggest one, because I feel like it's a ripple effect of other good things to come. The minute you can accept that this is not my fault, it's not my shame, is that, but that shame belongs to the other person. You can then begin to chip away to the other things you've mentioned for healing.
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
another thing I do want to say is that take your own time to do that healing process. Like if that doesn't include going to the police at that particular point in time, tell somebody whenever you're ready. Like, do it, go at your own pace, do it at your own time. Don't feel compelled or let anybody force you to do whatever that you're not comfortable doing. Just tell your own story. Don't let somebody else write your story for you. Tell your own story your own way,
Right.
is what I would say to that. So I don't know how to thank you. We are pretty much at the end of the podcast
Yeah.
today,
I know
and
it went much longer than, than you had probably
yeah,
planned.
it was fun. I think that's the thing about authentic information and
Mhm.
just raw information straight from your heart. It can take as long as it needs to take, but the story needs to be told in a certain way, and there's no timestamp on that. So I don't know that I would ever be able to thank you enough for just taking
Thank you
this
for
chance
having
on
me.
me. Yeah, of course. It's just taking the chance to come share this on my podcast. And I know you haven't done this kind of thing publicly before. So I do want to ask you, how do you feel sharing this story, sharing your story, sharing this
Hmm.
really huge experience on this
Well,
platform?
I hope. Well, for me, I feel this is a little bit of a tearing down. Like, so like I said, I've had to work a long time without the shame factor, right? So it's one thing to share something with your close friends. It's a whole different thing to tell strangers who don't know you from anywhere, right?
Yeah.
And a true test. So that question you asked about, do people believe me, and how did that go? It's one thing for your friend, your mom, your dad to believe you when you tell them. It's not the same as somebody who doesn't know you, right?
Hmm.
To how they would take it, right? Or somebody who knows the both of you involved in it, and it's not that awkwardness of who is telling the truth.
Truth.
And when you
Yeah.
don't imagine someone can do something, it's very hard to wrap your head around it, and it can be a very awkward position. So it's but so sharing it, I'm hoping I feel better. For me, sharing helps me. That's for me,
I'm so
right?
glad to
And
hear
I
that.
hope it
Yeah.
helps people understand that you need to be mindful and careful, not to live in fear, obviously, but be
Yes.
mindful and careful as much as you can. Technology has gone way advanced. There's so many more things you can do now that can help do things more subtle, right? um, and just on the flip side as well, as an individual, don't do unto others what you don't want them to do unto you. Very simple principle,
Yes.
right? Very simple
Yes.
principle. Even the near encounter, it can be traumatizing, and it is traumatizing.
It
I can
is.
see with some that those experience will stay with me forever. Like if you wake me up 10 years from now, I can recount the story for you exactly the same way I did today, because I can close my eyes and I can relive every single moment of it.
Oh,
What you
teacher.
think you may think is your play, which I honestly, that's not playing.
No, I think we ruled that out.
Especially the
It's
second
not.
one, there was no play about that.
Both of
There
them,
was
there
no
was no
play.
play
There
there.
was there was no play about that.
No.
Like gloves were off. This was war.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. That
it's
one was being dragged from the
mhm.
doorstep all the way to your bedroom. Girl,
Oh,
that's not play.
oh, the other thing I forgot to mention in both cases, where how for survivors too, where you can think you're where you lose it, you see the person again and they act like nothing happened.
Ah, girl,
So then
I
when
don't
you hear
even.
stories of people say something happened, they saw the person again and they still worked
And
or
then that
dealt with
person
the
makes you feel
person.
like you're crazy because they
Bingo. I
act
can
so
I can
normal.
I can understand that because but the second one, whereby the first one was easier for me, like I said, I didn't have to interact with the person anymore. In fact, I don't think I saw them. I may have seen them maybe once after that, and that was about it. The second person I saw a few times after, and the first time I saw them after, I had to say, wait a minute, am I dreaming?
Hmm.
They need an Oscar award. He
Wow.
acted like nothing. Like to this day, I still question, does he remember what happened? Because he's acting like nothing happened. Now he's somebody. So of course there was a little drinking involved. So I mean I wasn't drinking, but I know that he's someone that drinks Like drinking is a part of his everyday life. Like he's not like a walking drunk. No, but you know how people are like,
I
oh,
know
they had a
what you
drink.
mean.
So
Yeah,
I'm
occasional.
pretty sure he had drank
Mm-hmm.
something that day. But even still, he was still driving and didn't crash. Do you know what I mean? So like you can't say,
It's not an
oh,
excuse,
it's not an
regardless, even
excuse.
if you were
I
drunk.
guess my point is I'm trying to figure out, does he actually remember the encounter? Like obviously I've never confronted him about it, and because the way he's acted when I saw him, I had to be like, what? Hey, this is him. Hey, how are you? How you doing?
Oh
I
my
haven't seen
gosh.
you in a while. It's with this
Boy,
girlfriend, by
bye.
the way. I haven't seen you in a while.
No.
No, 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 no. All right, take care. And I was just like, what? You haven't seen me in a while. No ish. I wonder why that is. Like, acted like nothing happened. And the few times I've seen him again after that in general environment, never, not how people act weird or awkward out. Never acted weird or awkward. I was the one who was awkward and weird because I was just like,
Thank you so much, Takumba. It's
yeah.
it's scary.
Like so I don't know if it's because they've done it so many times or it's or they're practicing or they're as that guy said, reverse psychology. Like I don't know, but they do it so well that you're like, wait, am I crazy? Like I kept each time I would see him,
Really
all I would be
complex.
thinking about was this person almost raped me, and he's here laughing, chatting,
Casually
and
asking you how
casually
you're
moving
doing.
around me as if nothing happened. Yeah. Anyway,
That is
um,
so good.
yeah.
I just really want to say thank you so much again for
Hmm.
doing this and giving me your time. I want to end on a lighter note because this is a
Mhm.
really heavy conversation. So I
It
want you
is.
to go home, go to bed feeling, well, I hope feeling okay and feeling good about what you've done today because it's
I
blessing
hope
many
hope
people
it
that
helps
will listen.
somebody.
I hope it helps somebody.
I hope it does. No,
I
you're
believe
not alone.
it will. I believe it
You're not
will.
alone. It's not your fault.
Yes.
Find someone to talk to,
Yes.
um, and do the best you can to as a precautionary method. But even and if that doesn't help, just understand that you can do the best you can. But we need to do better in raising our daughters and sons better. Like our daughters are have a lot on their plate. We need to do better with our sons. So we need to teach our boys and girls to speak up, to be careful. Things to watch out for, things to avoid if they can, and if anything does occur, to be comfortable to speak up
Still speak up.
to the
Yeah.
right person,
Yeah.
right? And of course, people will be people. People, good people do bad things. There are people who I would call evil, who just
Yeah.
don't
This
think twice about hurting people. But end of the day, we need to do a better job in not only putting the responsibility of safety and consent and good manners and behavior on our daughters. We need to put it on our sons too,
thank you.
because this boys didn't wake up one day and be end up that way. Because most of the time there was no one taught the right thing, and two, there was no accountability or precaution for bad behavior,
Yeah.
right?
The brain is a learned behavior. Nobody
Mhm.
wakes up or is born a bad person. I don't believe that. I think it's
Right,
learned and it's something that your brain gets trained to as a young person. And then over
right,
time, as you become an adult, then you shape to become that individual, right?
right.
So I want to ask, what is one thing that you're going to be doing tonight as we hang up? What is something that you feel that you do for fun just to help you kind of, you know, de-stress
Well,
and kind of regroup?
well, tonight once I leave here, I'm about to go get my baby.
Okay. Okay.
And let my husband go to bed because I usually do I call it the night shift, right? And I'll hand him off in the morning, just a short time, and then move on. So, well,
Okay.
I listen to books and music. So I like
Okay.
to
So
the
tell me what
audiobooks
you're
is like.
listening to now. What
I listen
book?
to a lot. I like mystery books. So
Okay.
investigative. I wonder if that's because of
That's
my
my
background.
thing too.
But I like whodunit books. Like,
Oh.
oh, this event happened. Who was it? Who did it?
And then you try to
You know,
guess who did it before you
yes,
get to the end of the book.
yes, and because maybe law enforcement background and also experience with listening to stuff a lot, oftentimes I get the person right. I would say James Patterson is probably one of the few authors
Oh,
who's able to keep me like, Wait,
I
was
was
it?
reading James Patterson when I was maybe 12 years old.
He's
This
he's he's
is
he's
one
an
of he
incredible
is
author.
easily
He
my
top,
favorite
yeah,
all-time mystery.
yeah,
Top notch.
absolutely. Sometimes I get it, but most of the time I'm like, oh, James,
He
I did,
keeps you guessing. I don't know
yes,
how
he keeps
he's written so many
many
books,
books,
but
and he also does
still he gets you
collabs with
every
people.
time
Yeah, he does. I mean, and even if you got it right, it took you long to get it right.
to
Like
get
during
it
the
right. Yeah,
not
you
like
don't
you
get
got
it
it
like
in the
in a
beginning. You
few
get it.
chapters.
It's
No.
gone so far. They're like, right. So I
Yeah.
enjoy those, and I also I like this to music. Gospel music.
Yes,
Um,
I know you
so
do.
even non-gospel music too, just upbeat music, right? So
Yeah, I
that
like my
kind of
African music, every now and
yes,
then listen to
Afrobeats,
some
right? So yeah, that
Afrobeats,
those
all
things.
those. Okay,
Those
that's
things
good.
I like to do. So I'll probably maybe listen to a book while I'm either feeding baby, changing diaper,
So when you're
cleaning
not
up.
feeding baby and you're not changing diapers, running after kids, what
Hmm.
is something you just do for yourself? For fun, for just me time.
Self-care.
What is that? What
So
does
for
that look
me,
like?
self-care for me looks like either having a nice warm bath and jacuzzi.
Okay.
So I tend to buy. So I get some of these nice body products from like Body Shop, Lush,
Okay.
and then like one really nice bath, smells nice, have music
Hmm.
playing. If I want to be extra about it, I'll put on a candle, right? Have a little right,
Man,
and then deep and I
okay.
listen to music or listen to something upbeat and fun
Okay.
while I'm soaking in. That's at home self care, right? Or that means getting a manicure pedicure. Like I'm not one of those people who knows how to, like, oh, kudos to people who can do their own manicure and
I
pedicure.
can't do it. I
It's
have to
not,
go. It's
yeah,
not for me. I
yeah,
tried.
yeah, me too. So I have the products I bought. Yeah, I had to give it away. It was just not working. So for me, I make sure that at least once a month, if I'm going to stretch it, every 6 weeks max, but every 4 to 6 weeks, I go and get a mani pedicure done professionally.
I love it.
Right?
Okay.
That's just me time, right? Um, but of course, now with COVID, some of the things I used to do, like shopping, but yeah, that's all shut down. Online
Yeah.
shopping doesn't quite do it for me.
Really? I love online shopping.
I like to browse and do my research and short list what I want, and then go to the store and have a look at it. I would do that, but I
Okay,
don't
that just
like.
sounds like you're studying something. It sounds like a course right there.
It's how I'm programmed.
Are you kidding
This
me? So by the time you're done with all of that, you already had a PhD, right?
remember the phases that we learned in our policy
Oh my god.
research. No, problem
Oh, you
identification,
need to do a whole policy
issue
cycle
identification, identify
just
what
to
I
go
need,
shopping online. Girl, you need to come to
research
my
and
house. I'll help
analyze,
you.
options development,
Oh my god, girl.
rollout. I've forgotten what is after that,
Come to my house.
and then repeat. That's me. Like I often never. It's not often I would just go to the store and pick up something. Well, if I'm going to a specific store, like a designer store or a store that's like a brand name store, I would usually have gone,
Hmm.
browse, shortlisted, have a wish list. I like go in and say, "Hi, can I help you?" "Oh, you sure can." "Can I have blah 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 blah?" And then once I'm done those, I can now peruse whatever else is there.
Oh my
I
god.
always go in. Now, if I
Rude.
go into a place
Girl.
having my
All for
list,
all.
then I don't know what's gonna happen. I might come out of there with like, ooh,
Just
nothing,
use
or
Amazon. It's all
overwhelmed.
good. If you use
Amazon is
Amazon, if you don't like
it's
it, you can
household
return
stuff.
it.
I hate returns.
Oh,
I'm that person that does not like
but it's
to
so
return.
easy.
I know. I just don't like to take the label, put it in the package, go to the post office and send it back. No, I would do my best
Girl.
to pick the best one. Look at reviews. Look at
No
that's when it
wonder you have
comes.
to do this whole policy analysis just
Yeah,
for you
yeah.
to shop
I
online. Okay, I
hardly
get it.
ever return anything
Yeah,
unless maybe I got it and didn't fit right, for example, or the quality is really bad.
yeah,
And
then,
okay,
yeah.
and the price is not low enough for me to say, forget it. The things I've been like, this is bad, I won't get it again. That's my donation to the economy.
Naija, I cannot lose any money. I am in
Usually,
Naija through and through. So
nowadays,
even if it's
I fit just that
inexpensive,
thing.
I
fit
must
that-
return. Huh?
Just the economy small, you know.
How?
Just
Which
F
economy?
Yeah, the
Only
economy
you.
we're on. Only
The
me.
economy is
My
not
own
my
little
father's
head.
company.
My own.
So
Who told you that? Who that statement that you made? Who taught you that statement? Easy. Who
you
taught?
taught me that story. Ladies and gentlemen, this statement came from Takumba some 4 years ago or 3 years ago, and I will never forget it. When she
Oh
put me
my
in my
God.
place and she said, "Is he your papa company?" I was just like, "No, it's not." It's
Because
not.
you wanted to
Like, what are you still doing there? It's like, okay, okay, girl,
shout
I'm
out to the
leaving.
organization because you work for them. You work. I'm like, EJ, you're not going to go off.
I'm
Oh,
just trying to help the
I said,
economy.
go off work. Is it your father's company? I thought you
It's
were
not.
work.
It's been amazing so much talking to you.
Likewise,
Thank you so much, Takumba. I hope you had a good
likewise. Thank
time.
you. I did. Ooh, there's one question you had on your stuff that I thought about. It
Yeah,
says, if
sure.
you have the opportunity to change one thing in Nigeria, what would it be? That's
Yeah,
a hard question. But then I thought about it. Keep it simple. Let there be light.
like electricity light.
As they talk about for Bible, let there be
They
light.
talk about Bible indeed. So that is the one thing. If you
Nigeria
had
gets many problems. But
Mm.
as when God wants to create this world, what do you do? Let there
So
be
let
light.
there be light.
So you can see when you can then there's like you can actually see what they happen and figure out. Then you can
That's
now
really
start doing
true.
issue identification, mission analysis, option development,
Yeah.
trial and error.
And you can see all the evils that are happening in
Bingo.
the,
Nigeria get place problem. Let there be light. If there's light, people go fit put food for fridge and freezer. It no go spoil. People can have running water because all
you
these things
don't
are
need
all
to,
joined together. You don't have to be
yes,
doing candle in
can
this
do
day and
all
age.
the
People
rechargeable
generator. Do you
lamp.
know how many people have died from carbon monoxide
Oh,
poisoning? People who have small gens, but because they don't want to be
noise
stolen, they
pollution,
put it
gents
close into the
everywhere.
house, and then the pollution, then they all end up dead.
Yeah, they're just generators, like,
Noise pollution, like you said,
yeah.
health and safety, fires catching, explosions, so many things. You can't
So
study.
okay,
You can't, and light also gives safety. When there's light, everywhere is bright, everybody can see. Evil creeps
it
where there's
does.
darkness.
Yeah, yeah.
It can
I
try to
like
creep into
that.
the light, but when there's everywhere is well lit.
Mm-mm.
Why is it that things happen more at night than they do in the day?
Darkness cannot subdue the light. Even the Bible said so.
Let there
Yeah,
be light.
let there be
Simple.
light. I
Just let
like
there be
that. So
light.
that's one thing you would change if you could
Let there be
change
light, and
something in
everything, and
Nigeria.
absolutely, and everything else follow after.
Thank you so much for
Thank
being here
you.
today. It's a pleasure. Thank you.
Likewise. Thank you.